Namaskar, I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session. You are watching this online training session under the umbrella theme of Internet of Things and Mobile Devices and its Safety. Well, this is going to be the umbrella theme for this particular online training session, and today is day one of the session where we will be talking about the double-edged sword, digital bomb and IoT device. This session is organized by CRET NCERT in collaboration with I4C, that is Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center under MHA. So this session is live and interactive. You're watching us right now on PME with their channels from 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube channel NCERT Official. If you have questions regarding the topic today, feel free to get in touch with us. You can call us on 8800440559. That's the phone number. We also have a dedicated email ID for you, which is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. Last but not the least, you are watching us live on our YouTube channel NCERT Official. Please go to the comment section for your questions, feedback and suggestions. Just drop them there and get in touch with us instantly. Since this is a training program, which means you can participate in the post-session activity, and if you score more than 70%, you will be granted a certificate. I will tell you all the details how you can participate. You can register yourself and you can definitely give your feedback too. But that will happen by the end of the session. But for now, let me repeat myself. This is the training session on Internet of Things and Mobile Devices and its safety, the umbrella theme. Today is day one. And the topic is the double-edged sword, digital bomb and IoT devices. And to have a detailed discussion on the same, we are invited, of course, we have invited our expert in the studio, and we are joined by Dr. Deepak Kumar. Sir is Senior Technical Manager from I4C MHA. Namaskar and welcome to the session. So, before we go into the details, sir, I request you to kindly brief our audiences about what exactly we are looking forward to in the session.
Okay, thank you once again. I mean, this is a repeated session. The topic which we have mentioned today about the IoT, Internet of Things and mobile devices. So we're talking about like exactly what is IoTs.
Yeah.
We're talking about like how the devices really impact to the citizenship of India, basically, which we can say. And majorly like what are the elements which is very important to understand by the common citizens one, and what we can do for the cybersecurity perspective for the India as well. So during the session we have like some pointers which I would like to highlight in these slides basically. And at the end of the session you may ask questions which is very important.
Right, sure. So we can go ahead with the presentation?
Definitely. So from the presentation perspective, the theme, you can see on the slide, the topic today is called the double-edged sword, a digital bomb and IoT devices. So the topic and the word which I have used called digital bomb, why it is very surprisingly, like generally we talk about in this era about the digital things, about the cyber things, or you can say information technology perspective. We carry up this device, we carry about the mobile, we carry about the smartphones. Generally these are known, this is basically a digital bomb. So no need to confuse about this particular, and the things and the devices which is being used for operational perspective, for the information perspective, for the communication, for the betterment of the society. So these are the things for the future. So moving ahead, like on behalf of I4C, Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, I would like to highlight one thing, like the vision of the I4C, this agency basically, to create a safer cyberspace for the citizens of India. That is the motto basically. And the mission we talk about, we have to create an effective framework and ecosystem for the prevention, detection, investigation and prosecution of cybercrime in the country. So the point is that once we know the fundamentals, once we know about the cyber security, then only we can able to understand the things. So now moving ahead, a very well-known quote which I am using every time, because this quote really impact to everyone. You can read, like, once the documents have been posted online, the journey is out of the bottle. Like generally in this age, like we are using different social media platforms, different cyber perspective of networking websites, you can say, for blogging perspective, for posting any content. So generally what we think that the content when we post, suppose you post something on WhatsApp status, maybe post something on Instagram vanish mode, or you can say Snapchat or any application, we think that these contents, once we post something, once we share something, then after some time it goes like what. So I want to say one thing, like no, it's still there. And somehow with the help of this digital technology, or you can say forensics perspective or cyber security perspective, these things can be retained, these things can be like recover. But what about the emotions generally which we post accidentally? What about the fun generally which we use for the flex perspective in our Gen Z generation? So that is again a big subject here. So now connecting with this digital bomb and the cyber perspective, that is the content. So now the content, the crime or these technologies basically shifting from the devices perspective to the mobile application. Nowadays everything in our click of like finger, even simply we can say that. If you want to order something through any platform, if you want to buy something through e-commerce website, if you want to to check our daily activities or like the diet perspective things, everything, so it is there simply available through the technology, through the devices basically. So now the point here is what the crime perspective or the awareness perspective, the thing which I would like to highlight from this session, that is basically nowadays everything is communicating through this mobile application, and you can see on the screen like many people, many person, they are connected, and how they are connected basically with the help of the mobile devices. So now you take some examples like when you connect with any person, you use some sort of platform. The platform could be a website, the platform could be like a mobile phone, and to process this particular, maybe we can use some application. So by the time when you use some application, then generally what happen, it contains some sort of some programming, some sort of things which is really connect with the servers. But what is happen, like if it is misused, what about like somebody intercept this application and they may exploit the vulnerabilities or the weakness of the application. So similarly these things are there, and these technology really helps as well. This technology really create a problem to the citizens as well. So now go to the slide. Basically we talk about digital bomb, and this digital bomb itself define everything like a device, a content which relay means like which used to facilitate services, like what, like the application which we are using, done, the content which is really important for the citizens perspective too, and similarly the privacy part. Privacy is a very important subject, and when talking about the privacy perspective, like we don't know exactly what we are sharing, what we are doing, what we are working basically. Like suppose we do have a CCTV in our home, and we don't know exactly the CCTV footage which is going through some server, and that server actually resides in some country which not comes in our norms, or maybe that resides in our country itself, but the configuration, the authentication is vulnerable, maybe any third person can able to see or intercept. In that case what we can do? So privacy plays a very important role in this perspective. And now what about the IoT part? IoT again, like Internet of Things. So before jumping with the Internet of Things topic, we can talk about Internet of Humans. So like generally when you talk about a person through the internet, like hey, hi, how are you, where are you traveling, so generally we make a call to that person, so like we connecting to the person. So we through the internet, the channel is basically through the internet. So internet and the human, it's called Internet of Humans. But generally nowadays when you try to connect through the things, that is called devices, it could be a smartwatch, it could be smart devices, it could be automation. So that internet and these things basically when they interconnect, which is basically for communicate, to share data, and to monitoring perspective, this kind of technology really booming nowadays. And no doubt because of the like simplicity, because of the like automation perspective things, we are completely depending on these type of platforms. So now some facts in front of you, like by 2025 there will be 75 billion IoT devices globally, and this is the statistica perspective of statistics which is there. And similarly the global IoT market is expected to reach $1.6 trillion by 2030. So again it's a big figure to understand exactly how the IoT market can be boom. And similarly 90% of IoT devices collect personal data, and that is a big subject about the things. For example, you want to book any cab through Uber, then generally what we do, we use some application. To run that application, what generally we need a device. And when we install that application onto the device, and when we allow the permission, then only that particular cab or the service understand exactly the geolocation. Then they ask like, sir, tell me the exact location. They don't ask, they simply come to your location. But the landmark is very important. So point is that when that application access my data, how can we assure, or how can I assure that the data which they are taking from my device, that is secure? So sometimes that is also very big subject. What food you're ordering through Zomato, through the application, through these sites, grocery items basically, what kind of content you're watching through these platforms, and what kind of content you are searching through internet, everything records somewhere. But similarly, when you're talking about the devices which is being used or the application which is being used, sometimes they are the subject of privacy and the security. So that was the fundamental perspective of the Internet of Things, which is important. So now, talking about the trending cybercrime which is linked with the IoT devices. But before jumping with the IoT perspective, Internet of Things perspective, we understand the fundamental area, and I will let you know exactly why this trending cybercrime link with these IoTs and digital bomb. And you will completely become shocked like, oh my god, this was really happened like this. So starting from the first, that is called trading or investment things. So generally you have seen that certain ads, advertisements are coming on social media platform. It could be like Meta platform, it could be any well-known platform. So when the things are coming on this platform, sometimes they may use synthetic videos or deep fake videos, and I'll let you know exactly what is that deep fake video. But again, sometimes we don't know exactly the content which is showing it is real or fake. And when they are asking to do good investment, they ask about they do trading for the same thing. But majorly we have seen that many people have duped so many things about this particular. So how these things are happening? Similarly, the second point is called digital arrest, like a person or a fraudster you can say, or a scamster generally they call, and they say that, sir, I'm calling from so and so branch, so and so police division, or I mean any law enforcement abide body. Then what happened that they may say that, sir, I have found some sort of drugs or MDMA, something like that. They can create certain things. It's a reality. So in that perspective, a normal layman person don't know exactly what happened. But the question is that how this IoT relate with this particular. The point is that when our data has been leaked onto the market, when our personal information has been leaked through the vulnerability on any IoT device, then they got the numbers, and when they got the number, then they got the preferences, and when they got the preferences, then they got to know exactly, yes, you are Deepak Kumar, sir, your age is this, you need this, then you shock and you think that how this thing's gonna happen. So similarly, somehow these devices, these things really impact to the citizens, and I would say it's not only impacting, it's also betterment. So we can see the both side, like the positive side and the negative side in the further slide. But initially going with the third trending cybercrime, that is called online task job fraud framework. I mean, a person is too greedy, and when they are into too greed perspective, then simply they don't know exactly what consequences are there. Like what happens, sometimes people say that like you invest some sort of money, you will get good money as a perspective. So even many work from home job or task perspective, many people lost a huge amount of money, hard-earned money you can say, and it is a trending cybercrime again in this country. Online gambling, online gaming, and color prediction, these kind of things also there into the market which relate with the same thing. Blue tick, these things. So now point like how the seasonal narrative you can say, organized crime or gangs are there. They are simply manipulating users in the sake of a cyber perspective. Like you understand that like if sometimes you have heard the concert tickets are there. Many people have seen that if you have to purchase any concert tickets, you have to book through this link, and somehow if you go to that link is a fake website, and they simply ask your money, ask your personal information, and simply they block you. So sometimes the data which they have taken, like your personal information, your phone numbers, and the data which you entered through that website, somehow these information has been leaked. Now point is that sometimes these applications can be used through some IoT devices. Sometimes these applications, these servers, these entire infrastructure may be vulnerable, and somehow these can be linked with the users. So now the IoT perspective of cyber crimes, again when you're talking about the compromised computers, means like a device which contain application for sensing to provide data, to relay the data to the server, and that is a condition where in past like 2-3 years before, you can say like the Mirai botnet was a perfect example, which you understand, like multiple application, multiple like devices which is compromised, and simply they act as a bot. And if the computer or the device has been compromised, it or that can be do anything. It can use for DOS attack, distributed denial of services, DOS attacks like that into cyber perspective. Similarly, we have data theft and privacy breaches. That is also a big subject about the things. If you heard about any medical device, smart device which contain users data, and somehow that application or the servers is hacked or compromised, in that case this play a very important role. Similarly, ransomware attacks are also biggest example for the same thing. Ransomware is a malware, and that malware can create or it can be used to do malicious activities. And if the malicious activity is being used by the threat actors for the cybercrime perspective, so this can be misused for cyber security as well. So similarly, if a company is running and providing the cyber a device or a services to the user with the help of IoT based you can say sensor, or you can say any device, any technology, and the technology going down, if the vulnerability on that particular thing, then it can create a ransomware attack as well. Like a hacker or a fraudster can connect through that application, and they can try to encrypt all the data of the server. So that is again a big subject of the ransomware attacks. Similarly, we do have unauthorized access and control. You heard about, like, you have social media accounts, right? And suppose your credentials has been leaked, then anybody able to try in their device and add the credentials, then what happen in that case? Simple, in that case that credential really play important role. Maybe that person can misuse, and when they misuse the content, they can able to see your entire content, your sent item, your everything. So that is about the application part. But by the same time, when you are talking about the IoT perspective of devices, if there is a weak authentication, means the password is very simple, then what happen? Anybody can able to get into that device, that accessibility basically, and then they can able to misuse it. So that is also example of unauthorized access and control. Supply chain attack again a big subject, and in supply chain attack, this is a content like a big point where you have seen that basically, like, if any service is offering to a company and somehow through the technology or through the perspective that can be leaked, then that is again a big subject where a supply chain attack play an important role in the device, in the basically manufacturing perspective, like that. Credential theft, IoT device manipulation, surveillance, espionage, that is again a you can say a cyber crime perspective or cyber security threat into IoT, where sometimes suppose a device is a well-known IoT device. If somebody create a fake device with the same name, like impersonating something like that, then that is also a big subject where manipulations and impersonations are there with the name of the devices. Phishing, social engineering, and IoT. Phishing and social engineering perspective, when you are talking about, then what happen? If any threat actor can use website, or you can say chat GPT kind of generative AI based platform, they can create a crafted and well known link, and that link may be used for sending these link to the users, and that users can misuse, I mean they can trap into this kind of social engineering tactics where they can hack themselves. So that is also a big subject where they should know exactly when things relate with the fake update. So I am telling you a simple example. Suppose you are wearing a smart watch and you got to know that a new update came, and you don't know exactly that update actually not came from the device owner, or you can see the firmware. That is a fake link, and it says that a new update can come, basically you update it. Otherwise, if you don't update, then your device can be hackable and anybody can able to access your private information. So in this fear, I click that link, and somehow what happened, my data has gone. In that case, it's also a big subject to understand exactly what is phishing and social engineering tactics in this IoT related cybercrime. So this slide plays a very important, because we studied through the survey basically, or through the Indian cyberspace perspective, then we got to know that yes, these things are there, And the last, very important, that is called IoT enabled vehicle hacking. I mean, nowadays, because of this technological perspective things, we have seen that many devices, many cars, many automobiles, I mean sectors as well, they are using this kind of advanced sensors technologies as well. And you have seen that many accidents and many good points are also happened with these things. So what happened, that because of the devices, or you can say the softwares or the hacking devices, you can suppose a flipper is there, or Raspberry Pi kind of devices are there. Now you understand exactly that can be used or misused for the cybercrime perspective, and anybody can create a big damage, and that damage can be linked with your health. So that is a big point. Now we're talking about some positive and negative impacts of these IoT devices and smartphones. So understand yourself, like the smartphones play important role, no doubt, and assume yourself like without phone. It's a very big subject, I would say. Like the FOMO, fear of missing out, is there. Like what happened, we can see, we can connect. So similarly, like positive impacts perspective of these devices, like you have automated fridge, automated smartphone, automated door, or automated anything which is there. Then suppose you have to go to the home and you want to remotely operate that device through your phone, through your device, through your application. Basically key, once I reach to the home, then automatically like that my refrigerator or my AC or my like that particular device should on. So it will time consume, in less time you can able to connect like that. So point here is that if suppose that sensor is not working, if suppose there is a vulnerability into the device, if suppose there is a power cut, if suppose there is some technological error with the device, then in that case what will you do? So that is the subject where we understand the negative as well positive. The positive point here, starting with this, it automate daily tasks, and smart lights, smart assistants really have, like hello Alexa, hello okay Google, like that. When you say, then what happened, it prompt, he asks like what exactly you want, you say play some song, you say like what is the weather in Delhi and what is the XYZ. So what happened exactly, when you prompt, then it gives result to you. So somehow the data behind there. So when you say like play some song which really I like from my behavior pattern, so accordingly that playlist is there, and that Alexa or maybe an device, they can understand exactly, yes you like sad songs, or you know. So accordingly what happened, because that company, that my data managing things they do have, and if suppose anybody can able to get into these device or this account or the server, they can judge me, they can see everything which is what exactly I like. So that is again a privacy concern perspective as well. Increased efficiency, smart cities using IoT save up to approx 30% of energy annually. That is again a statistics which is there. Improved healthcare, wearable help monitors patient health and send real time updates to the doctor. So what happened, that in that case, like in the health sector, in the basically hospital sector, generally what happened, it's very good for the person who are they working over there, like they have such kind of appliances or devices which really help in the new generation, which you can say, but sometimes this can be manipulated as well. And the last is called industrial advancement. You have heard about smart cities are coming, yes, but what exactly smart cities? Not like computers and cameras are there, there are multiple other things are there which is used for data monitoring, person monitoring, understanding exactly like in morning 9 to 10 this is a peak hour, so they get to know exactly number of vehicle has been passed through this particular check post. So similarly the camera sensors are there, they can count these things, and accordingly they get to know exactly the number of vehicle passed through this toll plaza. So similarly this kind of advancement or other I mean the devices which is being used in the industry sectors, and the productivity has been improved by 25%. Now moving to the second one, that is called negative impacts and challenges as well. Like I told clearly, like if you are using the beauty of this particular, of course you have to pay the things which is very important, the privacy part. Privacy is a very important subject, and if any person or any entity is connected through internet, then assume that privacy is a myth. I mean everything is recorded somewhere. This is depending on the accessibility of the person or the authority. So the 75% of IoT devices are vulnerable to cyber attack. Vulnerability means the weakness. I mean if any vulnerable content and vulnerable device is there, then it can be a big issue for the privacy. For example, if I using Android device, so you understand exactly the latest version of Android phone is what. If you're using the depreciated old version of that particular, it means that there's a weakness in your phone. And if the weakness in your phone, then what happened? it's mean that anybody can able to access your data. So 75% of data is of this IoT is vulnerable, and that is as per the HP study, like that is a big subject as well. Now second is called the data breaches. Data breach is very common subject, and this is the very important aspect. You heard about that big companies data. Every day we are getting that the companies data are getting hacked. For example, you're talking about any food perspective, like I don't want to name those companies, even though these are news actually, but every second day or every like week we heard about that some company data has been breached. And question is that how these things are happen? Because of the vulnerability, again because of the supply chain attacks, because of the hacking perspective, and you don't know exactly these things are, if used as a software manner, if that software is vulnerable, then it is very important that it can be hackable or achievable by some threat actors. Threat actors means fraudsters or criminals generally who unauthorized get into any server or system or a device. Maybe you lost your laptop, and the laptop contain very important data of company or maybe yourself. So if the data has been leaked somewhere, and that can be uploaded on some online platform, or you can say dark web, then you to whom you can say the weak, because of this your physical perspective things which is over there. Similarly called digital addiction is also an important element. I mean, when you talk about gaming platform, you see like a person or a students or anybody, they spend huge amount of time with these basically area. But what about the like you heard about like Instagram shorts, Instagram reels, and different short videos perspective, we spend number of time into this particular, like, so addiction is also there. But over reliance on the smartphones, it leads to reduced productivity and increase mental health issues. So that is also a big concern, like when you're wearing about your smartwatches as well, you're keen about like I have to run this amount of kilometers in this particular time. So what happened, it can really help to health perspective, but if suppose that health data has been leaked, then what happened? They get to know, like people get to know exactly you are a BP patient, you are a so and so patient. In that case what happened? So sometimes these devices is fine, but addiction of these devices sometimes may ruin your personal life as well. And the last is called security concern. Security concern is why important? Because when you're talking about the security concerns is what, like in the large scale of cyber attacks, many devices are not updated, and IoT devices are oftenly used as an entry point for large scale cyber attacks like DDoS. So what happened, that suppose a person is intelligent but their device is outdated, then in that case if the device is not working properly, then what happened? Then simply anybody can able to get into the device, and then they try to do that, they can misuse these devices basically. That is the security concerns which is there. So now I have talked about these perspective of pros and cons. Now moving ahead about the data security and privacy concern. So point one is called vulnerability. Vulnerability is like a weakness, risk which is associated with the devices. So lack of encryption in IoT communication. The communication is very important, like suppose a plant is there and that we need to know exactly the humidity of that particular soil, we have to use a sensor. If the sensor collects the data properly, that is fine, but to relay the data from the sensor to the server, maybe there is a vulnerability, the server is not patched properly, the device is not patched properly, so there is a no show of the sensor. So it means that the server which hosts the data and the data providing to the user, somewhere one of the element is vulnerable. So sometimes it is very important about the vulnerability. Second point is called weak or default password. Passwords are also play important role. If your password is very simple like 1 2 3 4 ABCD, then what happen? Anybody can able to guess and they can get into the device. Similarly, outdated softwares and firmwares are there. If you use outdated softwares or firmware, a normal person don't understand exactly how to update the softwares or firmware. So sometime over the play, like you'll get the update, you just press update and it automatically update things. So that is a simple mechanism. But what about the firmware? Firmware is not easy to update like that, and I believe that like the devices, the TV which is at your home, they also need update. We don't know, we don't have time, we don't know exactly how to go there. Simply we go Netflix and a different platform, we play the things, but we never assure that like the setting, and we can check exactly how many applications are outdated like that. So this is the a big challenge as well as a vulnerability point of view. And talking about the attacks perspective, that is on the screen as well. Mirai botnet attack that was happened in the 2016 basically, the biggest IoT based attack. Similarly, about the smartphone malwares grew by 54% in 2023 as per the AV test. these are the statistics which is talking about the worldwide concept. Like you can say we are using smartphone, definitely we are using application, but if you want to check exactly how many applications are still not updated, so that shows in your phone. But generally what happened that we are not updating that thing. We think it's okay, it will consume our memory. It's not like memory, it's about the security features, which is very important. Similarly, we do have how your data is collected. I mean IoT devices, these appliances, these applications, generally what they gather locations. They know exactly you live in Delhi, you live in Mayur Vihar, you live in any Dwarka or XYZ places. But why Dwarka or Mayur Vihar? Why not Nagpur, and why not about the Thiruvananthapuram? So sometimes as per the demographic perspective, as per the geographical reason, every IP, every device, every user information, password is being collected or monitored by these kind of applications or devices. So they do what? They collect location, they collect name, they collect any pattern, and once they know the pattern about particular, then this can be worked out. I am telling you one very good example. There are many cyber crimes which can be really helpful or tracked by smart devices. Phone not able to work out, but smart watch that the person has weared. In that case, what happened? That thing basically tracked by police by the pattern, by the geolocation of that particular. So sometime devices keeps records, and digital footprints really play important role for the forensics personalities or like forensicators or police law enforcement bodies. So similarly, smartphone track browsing history, application usage, like when you see digital well-being, that application, that app which is being installed onto your phone, you can check exactly like in my phone, what application I have been used for what time. Suppose I am using an application called WhatsApp for 3 hours. It's like a screen time. So that application captures. So digital well-being and application on Android, you can check and you can see exactly like last 1 week, how much time you have spent on one application. So that is a big subject as well. So this is called the tracking. But what about like what exactly we have browsed? So when you browse through Safari, or you can say Google Chrome or any application, it's called browser history. If the browser history goes through where? To your device as well, and the account which you're using to, and the internet service provider. If you're using Hathway, using Airtel Fiber, if you're using Geo network, of course these telecommunication providers basically they also have the data. So sometimes it's very important to know exactly what you're browsing. And the last is called consequences of poor privacy. I'm telling you, poor privacy is what like? Poor privacy is like simple, like suppose your Gmail password is same as your Facebook password. If your Snapchat password is same as your Instagram password. If a person get to know about your Instagram password and somehow you want to try your Snapchat or different element, then what happened? He or she can able to get into. For the safety perspective, what you need to do? You need to set a two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication. Means like somebody access, if you access yourself with your password, but one OTP should come at your phone, on your phone. If OTP will come, then assure that yes, you are the person. Now it can be authenticated by the application. So sometimes it is very important. So consequences is what exactly? You have seen that anybody can use your photo, and they can put on WhatsApp DP, and they ask money, if they ask a narrative to hack someone. So what is happening here? If suppose somebody create fake impersonation, fake personality on Facebook, social media, is a very common subject. So what happened that financial frauds are rise, and identity thefts are, and these things are again happening in nowadays. Now moving ahead about the malwares, again a little bit technical, which I would like to highlight why it is very important. First of all, because of this technology, the malwares is like a malicious software, and it can be categorized into various forms like virus, worms, trojans, spyware, ransomware, rootkit adware, nagware, keyloggers, rat, everything. So these are the family. This comes in one umbrella. It's called, the umbrella name is malware, and all the like types basically it's things. So now what is happening here? When you heard about spyware, any application which spy, so a spy whom? By on devices, exactly. So how it can be possible? So this can be possible through fake application if you install on your phone. It can be happen through vulnerabilities, exploitation. So what is happening in this digital bomb, digital era? We always keen or spending huge amount of time to trying some application. Suppose an application called a deep fake perspective. So what is happening that like it's saying that ki AI based application hai, you can install that particular application, you can upload one photo, it can tell exactly like how you look after 50 years, how you look at the age of 75, how you look at the age of in teenage basically. So what happened? It need your one photo, and after that that photo will process backend, and that particular, and after that the data set, the model, it can, with the help of algorithm and deep things, it can give you some result. But the question here is that the time when you install your application, what kind of permission that application asked, that is one. Similarly, the moment when you upload one photo, that photo, have you consent that particular? If that consent is there, it's mean that the data which you have uploaded onto their application, through the application onto the server, that server, if one day hacked, or that server may misuse that data, then who is responsible? So sometime what has happened that this kind of technology, this kind of upcoming area, this can be a negative as well with. So the point is that privacy, you can read the content, you can understand exactly the website and the application is basically from where. So the point here is about the malware. You can see that like criminals or people, they are using SMS, they send something on SMS. Like suppose a message came like your KYC is not done, kindly update your PAN, Aadhaar, like that, and we are from so and so bank, please click on the link. And generally what happened that if you click on the link, generally these website, these contains fake links, and these links goes to the fake website. So now it's very detailed things are there, like how things are coming. So mobile SMS contain links. Guess, suppose you receive one application through Android phone, or through WhatsApp, or through iPhone, through any devices, basically they are saying that it's a new IoT device patch. If you install that application, it can give the clarity of your camera, smart cameras, or you can say like it can be used as a good alarm for you. Now what happened that installing that application, maybe that application may ask your SMS reading permission, maybe they ask about your geolocation perspective, or maybe that application ask about the gallery. In that case, what will you do? So sometimes this can be also used for a negative element. So now the threats, how the threats are coming from, cyber threats, it's always linked with your technological perspective. So when you say that hostile nations are there, terrorist groups are there, organized criminal gangs are there who are data harvesting, data credential stuffing perspective, like that. So similarly these things are there. Corporate spies are there, it's called corporate intelligence, comment are there. Similarly hacktivists are there. Hacktivists generally what they do, their profession is only do hacking. They find vulnerabilities, they report the vulnerabilities to the companies, and immediately they can misuse those data as well for the crime perspective. Disgruntled insiders, like a person who release or who is actually disgruntled from the company. So there are many angles are there for the hacking perspective, and the social media play important role. We can see that YouTube likes and shares, hotel reviews, preview of Google Maps and all. Now what happened that how you got these things, because somewhere your preferences, your cookies, your personal numbers, your personal data has been leaked through data breach or through these wearable IoT devices as well, and somehow these things are landed to your devices. It could be data entry scams, it could be online survey scams. It says that like you're using a car called Hyundai. Now how is your experience, kindly fill these survey forms. So if you fill the form, we will give you 1,000 rupees coupon offer, like that. So people do what, they fill the details. To filling the details, they ask few information like log in through your email ID. So when you log in through your email ID, it means that you are giving your email ID to them, and now you're ready for this spam. So sometimes free jobs, free offers, like that, which is in front of you, like that. And again dating scams, romance scams, and all these smishing, these are the examples. So examples means what, like the dating scams, you can see that a person get to know that you are a doctor, for example. Now how they got to know that, because of the data has been breached through particular. They say that, sir, you are the patient of like BP, sir, we would like to provide this. So they will not say like you are a patient of something. They simply like, nowadays the good medicine is there, it's called so and so, and it prevent you from the BP. So you think that yes, I am the BP patient, then what happened, then you can go with the same thing. Similarly these things are there which can be really helpful for the cybercrime. Similarly smishing is a big subject. You have seen that digital platform which is being used as an attack vector. So what happened that the content which come through these platform, they contain fake links, and these links can be used as a deep fakes, crimes, cyber, various celebrities are there, they are also the part of this particular. So emerging threats perspective, arrests, slavery, kidnapping, AI generated deepfakes are there, and the concluding this particular is what very important. The exploiting emotions for cyber perspective is again greed, panic, trust, fear. We should understand exactly why it is very important, because if a person trap into this particular, so the data can be misused by the criminals. So now we have talked about the IoT issues and all, digital bomb perspective, a few slides talking about the prevention and countermeasure perspective. So immediately we talk about the regular software update, strong password awareness and the data backup. Simple, it is a prime perspective for the users. Similarly, talking about the strong authentication is very important. Maintain the strong authentication to get into your devices. If you are managing like multiple cameras, your control panel, your accessibility should be clear. It should be accessible through one person. It should not be like anybody can able to operate remotely anywhere. Similarly, you do update your regular update should be there, should have a latest softwares and patches, which is really important. And talking about the company perspective, that is called network segmentation, that is there. Use properly trusted device, that is again encryption is very important. And some websites are there to check exactly like virus total, UL scan, that can use for the prevention of the malware perspective. So a simple example like WhatsApp, we have two-factor authentication. Similarly, your smart devices also have the same perspective and security perspective. You can check exactly how these things are managing. Now you want to understand exactly how these things are monitoring. Simply you can also check your Google account security checkup, for example. You can see exactly where you browse, what exactly you browsed, what time you have seen what content, and or what places you have visited, your locations, everything, and what kind of advertisement should come on your platform. So similarly like that it can be work out. So at the last I would like to highlight about the cybercrime perspective. Like many people have the concern about these things, where we have a website called cybercrime.gov.in. Similarly many platforms like that, but initially this platform is used to report online cyber crimes or in through the online platform as well. We do have a number called 1930 that can really help. The point here is why I'm highlighting this particular, because by the time if you heard about any new IoT based issues or any digital devices, digital security perspective things, if you can report to this platform, that can really help to the government to understand and to create a policies privacy perspective of the things. So what is happening, go to the website, you can also go to the report suspect, somebody making a call, somebody creating a concept, a concern which is related to the cybercrime perspective. You can go to suspect data, go to report suspect, and the option called report suspect to I4C. By the time when you click that link, you will have that content, and that content is about enter the URL, enter the things. You should not enter your number, something like that. Simple, just content, you have to report it, give the image and fill the captcha and just submit it. That is the perspective. And the last and very important about this cyber dose initiative, because with the help of Ministry of Education, NCERT is also important to the viewers who are watching through this platform. Awareness play a very important role. So for example, today we learned about exactly what is the fundamental about the IoTs devices, digital bomb perspective. Then we should also understand exactly what are the latest cyber trends are happening. So in emerging cyber crime, emerging cyber security perspective, IoT play important role. So if you are using any smart perspective, so you have to be smart. So by the end of the particular session, I have one last quiz which is very important to all the participants as well. I mean, what does I4C stands for? The option is like International Cybercrime Control, the B option called Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, C Internet Crime Command Center, and the fourth Institute for Cyber Security and Control. You can comment, you can let us know exactly what is the meaning of this particular.
Right. So if they've paid attention to the session, I'm sure they can, give you the correct answer. And so thank you so much for this presentation. You very nicely covered all the points. Of course, you talked about digital bomb perspective. You talked about IoT devices threats and how we can prevent, these threats to occur. What are the safety concerns? But again, just to summarize, what are the top IoT threats? Because you time and again talked about data privacy. Like when we send some chats on WhatsApp, they say, the chat is end-to-end encrypted, but again, is it safe?
Okay, so the application and the WhatsApp chat, that is separate thing, but again like the privacy perspective which we mentioned in this platform, it is about the devices, smart devices generally, how it has been configured and what kind of like authentication mechanism which is being used to authenticate to use that particular, and the data which is going through the server. And the second is called like the application or the platform is updated or not. So that is whole picture in this particular. So privacy is again, and the device updates are second point which is very important, and you have to understand exactly if the patch is there, immediately you have to patch it. And now talking about your WhatsApp end-to-end encryption perspective, that is the application based encryption policies. So what happens when you type something, it goes to server, it encrypts the content, then it goes to the end user. So nobody can able to intercept. If anybody intercept, then it can able to read the scrambled content, not the real content.
Right. Now, like, most of the businesses are taking place on the digital platform. Socializing is happening on the digital platform. So what are these, some of the measures that we can take? Because you just cannot take away the mobile phone from youngsters. We're talking about education these days. Of course, we need digital assistants to provide education, to connect with the last mile learners. So here, what are the countermeasures from digital bomb?
Digital bomb itself, I have explained like about the devices, or you can say carrying digital, you can phone or your smartphones like that. So phone and smartphone. So if you want to be a smart, then you are using smartphone. Similarly, to prevent yourself from that particular, you please respect privacy. That is one. Means like when you post something on social media, so you understand exactly to whom you're going to share with. That is one. You have to not immediately, you can say after 2-3 months like that, you can change your passwords as well. Should not keep the same password for all the platforms that is there. Third, update your like all the platforms like applications, devices and all. And fourth is you also monitor yourself on internet, like you type your name, you see exactly anything is there or not, like if suppose you are a big company or like you are running like that. And fifth, very important, that is called take a backup. Always take a backup of your important data. That is very important, I would say. And if you take a backup of your data, maybe suppose your device has been lost, or maybe your device has been encrypted, so at least the data remains safe. So that is an important element for safer cyber security perspective for the individual as well.
Well, when it comes to disseminating information, AI is playing a very important role. You mentioned deepfake. How we can identify whether something that we are watching is genuine, authentic or not?
Look, first of all, it's a very good question. How to identify or understand exactly the content. So first of all, the source. I mean that content you are watching where? First, the content actually coming from where? Is that come from like any WhatsApp group or any Telegram group? I'm not pointing this group. It could be any platform. The source is very, very important. And second, the objective. What exactly the objective? It is asking for to invest money, asking for like only knowledge sharing perspective. What exactly? And third, like when you use that application or that services, basically what you are giving them, like what personal information you are giving them. So sometimes that is also very important. Last, you can also do a small Google. I mean, you can use ChatGPT as well to check exactly the content you are seeing on that platform, is it legit or not. Small, I mean some small homework you can do as well, like in this social media platform as well.
But can we rely on ChatGPT?
Look, it's depending on the predefined data set. If I put many things as wrong, then again what happens? It populates wrong things. So it's like the input which you are giving. So answer is no, we not completely rely on this platform. Somehow it's also saying as a disclaimer that like the content you are searching or getting from this platform, it may be wrong.
Absolutely. So, like, we are running short of time. There's so many questions, but I'm sure they will be addressed in the sessions to come. So, thank you so much, Mr. Deepak, for your contribution to the session. And viewers, now it's time for me to wrap up this session over here. Of course, we talked about the double-edged sword, digital bomb and IoT device. This session was conducted under the umbrella theme of Internet of Things and mobile devices and its safety. In the days to come, we will take up different themes with different experts. And I was talking about the assessment. Yes, this is an integral part of this training session. So let's have a look at our website, how you can actually participate in the assessment. So you need to go to this website, ciet.ncert.gov.in. That is our home page. And here, just click on activities section and go to this option of workshop and training. Scroll down and you will find these two activities going on, but you have to click on online training on Internet of Things, mobile devices and its safety. Here you will find a complete write-up on this training program, why we are conducting it. This is the day-wise schedule. Tomorrow, that is on day 2, we will be talking about what is IoT ecosystems, fundamentals, principles and challenges. And here you will also find the objectives of the training program, why actually we are conducting it. This is also an awareness program. This is the entire program schedule where we have mentioned the title, name of the resource persons, and whatever sessions are being completed, they are uploaded on YouTube channel NCERT official, and the link is shared here. Also, I was talking about participation, because if you want to score more than 70%, if you want a certificate, you have to participate. For that, the step 1 is to register yourself. Either click on this link or scan this QR code to register yourself. Second step is to watch all these sessions very carefully, where these are streaming on all these platforms of ours. Third step will be to participate. Of course, that will happen in the last day of the training session, and all the details are here when the link will be opened, how you can participate. But the most important part is scoring 70% and above in the final assessment to get yourself a certificate. Last but not the least, you have to submit your feedback also, because we would like to improve upon our training sessions and we would like to include new content, and of course with your feedback that will be very easy for us. So click on the link or scan this QR code. You can always write to us on training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in or call on this number to share your feedback or to participate in this session. Now, with this, it's a wrap for this training session. But before I leave the studio, let's take a look at the schedule. Well, the programs that are coming ahead. Well, this is the entire schedule of all the programs that you have been watching through the day. In a short while from now, you can watch our sessions here, and the topic will be climate transitions and mental well-being. So please stay tuned for this session, and this is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you.